Man, I wish this seat was a little bit taller, but it is great to be with you. We got a huge week ahead. Welcome into the UFC 285 betting preview presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. And given that this is one of the biggest fights of the year, we're going 5 wide today. UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier, arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time, the future Hall of Famer Stipe Miocic, number 3 ranked flyweight contender Aaron Blanchfield, although on this set we consider you the number 1 contender after a huge main event win not all that long ago. And my man on the end who needs no introduction, the director of race and sports operations for DraftKings Sportsbook, Johnny Avello. All right, here we go, folks. Undisputed UFC heavyweight championship. Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane under the lights Saturday night. We'll be there live on pay-per-view, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. You got a big fight, right? You got a big fight with the return of Jon Jones against Ciryl Gane. And when Francis Ngannou left, you had to have a big fight. This qualifies as the big fight that we needed. A new heavyweight champion will be crowned this weekend, and I'm excited. I can't wait.
I mean, I'm excited, but not really because I'm not fighting. I mean, I'm selfish, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a great fight. I'm glad it's finally coming together already. Yeah. I mean, it's been a while, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a great fight.
So, Aaron, you were just here in Vegas for your main event. What'd you fly home for a little bit, and now you're back here for the festivities? Is that right?
Yeah, I flew home for like a week, and then came back this morning. Yeah.
So excited to just be a spectator this weekend.
Yeah, definitely excited to see how this fight goes. Definitely plan on fighting one of those girls next.
All right, well, anyone who has watched our betting previews in the past knows how much I value Johnny Avello's insight. So I'm going to start with my man on the end here. So in terms of this main event, Jon Jones, of course, as many of you know, has been idle for 3 years. He wouldn't like the word idle, though. He's been working hard, but he hasn't fought in 3 years. He is the betting favorite here against Ciryl Gane. Johnny, tell us about where you opened this number, what type of action you have seen come in from there.
Well, besides what you mentioned, the 3-year layoff, if you look at his last fight, it was against Dominic Reyes, and we go back and look at all the fights. And since then, Dominic Reyes has just gone south. Yeah. So you have to look at his opponents. And, and then we look at the quality fight of Gane, his one loss against a quality opponent. Yeah. We were never thinking Jones the favorite in this one. It just wasn't. So we opened up a pick. They took us up to 165, 170 now. We're pretty comfortable with that right now. We feel okay.
I like the way he put that. Taking that Jones action, he feels pretty good. Stipe, a lot of people thought that this fight was going to be you against Jon Jones. Maybe it was going to be Francis Ngannou. What are your thoughts on the particular matchup and how Gane might fare against someone like Jon Jones?
With Gane, I think the guy comes every time to fight, no matter what. Yeah. I mean, he has a great style. I think he hits hard. He has brings different aspects to the game. I think I didn't say earlier, I was thinking about it, was the groundwork. That's the big question mark, I think, for me. But I mean, he's pretty good not getting taken down. And, with Jones, he hasn't fought in 3 years. The ring rust, I felt it. I took a year. We fought. I felt it. Yeah. 2 rounds. It's terrible. He was punching me too many times. Yeah.
Daniel, if anybody can talk about wrestling maintenance, wrestling repetitions, grappling rounds, it's you. Seems to be a narrative here in Las Vegas that Ciryl Gane doesn't necessarily have an appetite for that type of training 24/7, 365. We spoke with him in the fighter meeting, though, on Thursday, and feels like he's prepared.
Yeah, he feels very ready to be able to defend the takedowns of Jon Jones. And then he made a point that I thought is very important. Francis Ngannou is so strong. He's so big that if you allow him to get his hands locked, there are very few guys that he can't just drag to the ground. It's not anything technical. It's not him showing you that he can be an NCAA wrestling All-American. He's just using power to drag it to the ground because he's so big and so massive. He doesn't believe that Jon Jones, even at 250 pounds, possesses that type of power to drag him to the ground and make him be stuck like he felt underneath Francis Ngannou. Now, I don't know if I agree with him, but I do believe that is a valid point and something we're going to have to look at as we get ready for the fight this weekend.
Aaron, as soon as you got Jessica Andrade to the mat a few weeks ago, it was game over. So I think you can probably speak to this a little bit, even though you don't necessarily know how that first takedown attempt may go. But if indeed Jon is able to take Ciryl down, how do you expect the fight to play out on the ground?
If Jon can take him down, it's relatively easy. I think he'll be able to control him there. I think his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling is going to be better. So I think it kind of depends on how easy or hard that takedown is for him. If it's relatively easy, I think it's his fight all day.
I think it's early. If it's early, if he takes Ciryl Gane down early, I think Ciryl Gane's in trouble. Yeah. I think he has to defend those early takedowns.
And like you said, I get the whole, Francis big. I felt it. I get it. He is super strong. It's almost like a big brother, little brother thing. You're holding it down. But with Jon though, he's got technique.
Yes.
That's one thing too. Technique beats strength and power a lot of times. I'm saying like with John, he might not be as strong as Francis.
Yeah.
But he has a technique behind it.
Johnny, in terms of the propositions, right, I can tell you guys right now, over 4.5 rounds for the main event, juice to the over -155, under 4.5 is +125. Looks like maybe some action coming in on Johnny Bones by submission. Anything particularly popular on DraftKings Sportsbook on the prop front right now?
Yeah, Jones by submission, +750. That's a nice price, down to +650.
All right.
Jones by KO, TKO, disqualification, +380. You know, our bettors on our network, they like to get pluses. Nobody likes to lay chalk, right? Everybody's looking for a plus.
All right, before we transition to the co-main event, I just want to quickly get some thoughts on Jon Jones, the aesthetic, right? Didn't see him with his shirt off a lot. We have finally seen it, and there are some people who are suggesting they don't think he is carrying that weight all that well, juxtaposed against maybe the way Ciryl Gane looks in his photos. Any thoughts without visuals in the octagon as to how Jones looks with the extra 50 pounds or so?
You know, here's the problem. Like, I'm not one to judge somebody's physique. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the guy that's judging physique. Right? I mean, but the reality is, I don't want to come off as I'm better than anyone because I feel I'm sexy. But that is a choice and a decision that I have made on my own. But the reality is it what I expected? No, because when a guy tells you he's taking 3 years off to put on muscle, you expect him to carry that weight a little bit differently. To me, it feels like Jones has just gained weight. He doesn't look like he's been lifting, and he doesn't. When you lost weight, you got skinnier. When you put the weight on, you look more muscular, right? He doesn't look like he has put on a whole bunch of muscle. He looks like he just put on a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah, almost like a skinny fat kind of thing going on. I'm not trying to be funny, but I get it. But also, one thing I've known in fighting is you can never judge a book by its cover.
Hey, Jamal Hill, right? You see Jamal Hill fight, right? Jamal Hill doesn't look ripped, but he'll knock your head off.
I mean, look at Fedor. I mean, that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, but it just so yeah. I mean, maybe that also play a factor too because if you didn't put the weight on right, it can slow him down and get tired. And plus, there's one thing: he hasn't fought in a fight like a real fight with the crowd and all the energy. That takes a lot, and you carrying all that weight. That's a big that's a big thing.
And maybe we're leaning into it too much, but I don't know. I just feel like his frame is such that maybe the visual some of us thought would look.
And not many are gonna look like Ciryl Gane. Like Ciryl Gane is a massive, like he's a specimen.
Lean Stipe though, no heavyweight looks quite as good as Lean Stipe and Miocic as we know.
I'm 253 right now.
This dude's gained some weight.
Let us transition to the co-main event, and we might have the most interested observer in the entire world on our set right now, and Aaron Blanchfield, who many believe will be the one who fights the winner of this fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso. Johnny Avello, Valentina Shevchenko prohibitively favored as usual. What can you tell us about where you open the price and where it sits right now?
Well, we looked at Grasso. She's rated around 10 best fighter. Shevchenko's, second in the world. Her over, and we felt that Grasso's skills are fair. She's an okay striker, not a great ground game. We opened this -$6, which is put up 6 to win 1, and the bettors agreed with us because we're up to -750.
Wow!
So this price has gone up.
-750 for Valentina Shevchenko. Alexa Grasso comes back +550. Over 4.5 rounds is +120. Under 4.5 is -150. Aaron Blanchfield, you're here for more reasons than just DraftKings this weekend, but what are your thoughts on this fight, and what type of chance you give Alexa Grasso to end the reign of Valentina?
Yeah, I don't see Grasso winning this fight. I mean, I think Grasso's a good fighter in her own right. She has sharp hands, but I think it's honestly the best part of her game. I think Valentina's her striking overall is better. She has her Muay Thai is more crisp. I think even her body lock takedowns and her control on the ground is gonna win her this fight against Grasso. I think a lot of people are maybe underestimating Grasso a little bit. I think she'll give Valentina a bit of a fight, but I still see Valentina finishing her maybe in the later rounds and keeping her belt.
DC, last performance for Alexa Grasso, main event against Viviana Araujo, was just okay, right? And after the fact, she was sort of pining for one more fight.
Yeah.
Instead, she gets the championship opportunity. What do you think she can do with it?
I mean, I just believe that she is such a great fighter, right? She does such a good job with her hands. She carries a confidence about herself that not many people in this division carry, and she is not intimidated by the moment.
Right.
We sat with her earlier today, and she told me, I'm not going to be in awe of Valentina Shevchenko. But the reality is, and I question the number, being that we saw Valentina in her toughest test last time against an opponent that many thought she was going to walk right through. So it's like, is this just a one-off that Valentina was able to be competed with by Tyler Santos? Or is this Valentina, who has been the champion for so long, that the division is catching up a little bit with her?
I'm scared of the bullet.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people are, and I do think DC's onto something a little bit, right? She's sort of smarting from a win, right? Even though she did win her last fight, it was by split decision. So when you look at Valentina Shevchenko, right, I've heard this narrative out there that beating her is almost bigger than the belt. And I think they're sort of one and the same until maybe Blanchfield intervenes. But, I mean, do you put Shevchenko on the pedestal? When you hear the consensus greatest heavyweight of all time say he's intimidated by Valentina, yeah, I mean, you're not, obviously. No. Do you put her on this pedestal that everyone else does?
No, definitely not. You know, yeah, I know everybody does that. You know, because she's been a dominant champ for a while in the division. There hasn't been many people that could do much against her till Talia, and like her last fight definitely gave her a tough run. But I mean, everybody, there's all other girls, you know, if you break them down, you can beat anybody. So that's how I feel about that.
John, you said it's one and the same because nobody else has had the belt, right? Are we really counting?
Don't make me forget
Nico Montano.
Yeah.
Are we really counting Nico Montano, right? Because she had the belt, never defended it. It ultimately moved on to Valentina. But I got a question for you. So when you look at Valentina Shevchenko and her not wanting to fight Tyler Santos right back, like what does that say about that mentality?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was definitely a tough fight. Maybe there's some things she wants to work on, and I think Grasso stylistically is a much better fight for her, a lot easier fight. Even though Grasso's a great fighter, I think her style is just not the same as Talia's.
You just don't see it, huh?
Yeah, no, I just don't see it. Yeah.
There's a lot of fans, obviously, who are very excited to see that fight between Shevchenko and Blanchfield if it does materialize, but we will see what Alexa Grasso can do this weekend. She has got a huge opportunity in front of her to become the first woman from Mexico to realize an undisputed UFC title. All right. The featured bout on pay-per-view is Shavkat Rakhmonov against Jeff Neal.
Yep.
But the man who's all the rage in Las Vegas is Bo Nickal, who makes his UFC debut this weekend. 7 months into his pro career, he's taken on Jamie Pickett. Johnny Avello, where do you even begin when you're looking at pricing a guy like Bo Nickal, who really seems to have developed a ton of traction with the fan base and seemingly bettors despite just being 3 fights in?
This was a tough one.
Yeah.
You know, Nickal's only 3-0, really hasn't been touched, but he also hasn't been tested. So, you know, where do we go with this one? We thought it had to be a big number. We didn't know how big of a number, so we opened up minus 1,400.
Wow.
1,400 to win one. So I'm expecting, okay, maybe we're a little high on this one, or the first bet's going to be on the underdog. It was not.
Man.
So we're at minus 1,500, so we're going up a little bit. Now, I think this will come down a little bit because, like I said, our guys on our network take a shot with a good price underdog here.
It's very interesting. On the prop front, Bo Nickal by submission open minus 120, now minus 165. You got to think a lot of people might like that. Will the fight end in under half a round is plus 190. Aaron, what are your thoughts on Bo Nickal in terms of what you've seen either in wrestling or MMA, and how high do you think his ceiling is?
Yeah, I've seen all his, I think his 2 contender fights or so that he had. Yeah, honestly, I mean, his technique looked good. I liked how, I remember watching it back a little bit, he had like some fakes into takedowns. For someone that doesn't have much experience, it did look pretty good.
Stipe, I know you support the Pennsylvania Midwestern guy. What are your thoughts on Bo Nickal as he makes this transition?
Bo's a great guy. You know, actually, when we found Anaheim, they always training at the one place. They came and hung out, and he's a great wrestler. I mean, and he's definitely working every day. And he's like like us. We train hard, and he's definitely getting better at every aspect of his game. But I think he's gonna get tested. Not saying I want him to lose. I'm saying he needs to get tested so he understands. Like, all right, I can take a punch. You know what I mean? Because you can take a punch all day in practice with big gloves, but the ones you don't see. DC even with one of those.
Daniel,
it's not fun.
If people don't know the book on Bo Nickal, right? 3-time national collegiate wrestling champion. In 2019, he was one of the best collegiate athletes in this country.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bo Nickal?
Well, John, you speak to him he was the Big Ten athlete of the year. Not in wrestling.
Right.
In not football, basketball, everything. He was the Big Ten athlete of the year. That is a high honor for any athlete. Bo Nickal, to me, honestly, is one of the greatest prospects we've seen in mixed martial arts because he comes with that wrestling pedigree, but he also comes from a family where mom was a boxer, mom was a fighter. So the family has been involved in combat sports, not just Bo as a wrestler. And he carries his confidence about him. Like, he just feels like he's going to be the man. And when you look at the weight division, and this is what makes me more excited about Bo Nickal, he would seem to be a matchup nightmare for the vast majority of the guys at middleweight. Because even when you start looking at the top 10, you start matching up Bo Nickal with certain guys, you're like, well, you might be able to beat this one.
Yeah.
You might be able to beat this one. And then you say, well, he's fighting the champ who got taken down by Izzy.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, well, maybe he could be the champion. You just don't know. He's good, man. I mean, he's minus 1,600.
Well, and for Jamie Pickett, who's plus 900, we sat down with him today, and, he seems to be resigned to the fact that he's going to get taken down, which I'm not sure is a great thing.
That's hard, man. It's kind of hard, too, because Jamie Pickett had a fight, his last fight. He lost. He said he got tired. He's never felt that rush of fatigue, dump. Yeah. He's going to have massive adrenaline going into this one because everything in his mind, in his body as a fighter is going to tell him that he's going to win. So he's going to go out there and he's going to lay it all out on the line. He has to manage that to not have that dump again against a guy that would seem to be better than the last guy. It's a tough spot for Jamie Pickett, man. And the guy, he's such a great guy.
Johnny,
such a great guy.
Are you going to get more tickets on Alexa Grasso by submission at 25-1 or just straight money line tickets on Jamie Pickett plus?
If you're going to bet her, you might as well do it that way. Why not? None of us think she's going to win the fight, but who knows?
I didn't say that, Johnny. Don't be putting words in my mouth. Johnny gonna get us fired, man.
It's a bellow cat.
Don't get us fired, John. John and I can't pick fights, man. Don't be saying none of us.
We requested.
Y'all don't think that. Me and John are fine.
We requested his presence. Now he's trying to get us in trouble. Unbelievable. All right. One thing that we like to do, and anyone who plays on DraftKings Sportsbook knows about the same game parlays. Essentially, the four of us, Johnny has to abstain. But we put together a parlay. It pays out at plus 350. We're each going to take an angle. Obviously, DC and I can't land on a side, but if you want to fade us or follow us, you can do so as you are inclined. But I'm going to start with Daniel. Give us one play on Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane in the main event.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident that this will be a 25-minute affair. I don't feel like either of these guys is going to take the risk to chase the finish. Jon has not ever been known as a knockout guy. I don't think he starts now at heavyweight, even though he says he can. And Ciryl Gane, if the fight can look pretty, as we saw in the early Francis fight, he's more than okay with the fight playing like that. So I think we're going 25 minutes.
All right, Aaron Blanchfield, seems like you went to the significant strike prop for your bet. What do you have for us?
So I think I chose the plus 85 for Gane.
Yep.
In that fight, I think if he can keep it striking, I think his overall game there is better, and I think he'll be able to outpoint Jon there.
All right, so minus 135 for Daniel for the fight to go the distance. 85 or more significant strikes to land for Ciryl Gane at minus 185. Stipe Miocic, what do you have for us on the main event?
I'm picking Gane just because I think that he's been more active. Jones hasn't fought in 3 years. I mean, that's big. That's big. I think. Plus, I said before, he's probably that weight down. You don't know how he's going to adjust with all that weight on in a 5-round fight, not just a 3-round fight, a 5-round fight. Yeah, 25 minutes sucks.
Well, you're also getting plus money, right? Plus 135 for Ciryl Gane right now on the money line at DraftKings Sportsbook. And I'm going chalky as hell, but we'll go with it. 2 or more takedowns for Jon Jones is minus 260. I think he's going to be able to get Ciryl Gane down a couple times. We're excited, folks. UFC 285 beckons here in a matter of moments. After 3 years away from the cage, Jon Jones back for UFC 285 with his heavyweight debut, and you can get in on his title bout against Gane and all the action on the fight card with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, and today's video sponsor, DraftKings, giving all new customers a winning offer. All new customers have to do: sign up for DraftKings, use my promo code HEAVYWEIght. Doesn't sound like my promo code. Heavyweight. Put at least $5 on a pre-fight moneyline wager on any fighter, and you will receive an additional $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. New customers, you bet just $5 on a pre-fight moneyline wager on any of this weekend's fighter. You get $150 in bonus bets deposited into your account if your bet wins. And if you're wondering what you could use $150 in bonus bets on, how about a UFC same fight parlay where you can combine, of course, multiple bets from one fight like we just did, which fighter will win, how many significant strikes, etc. And also, if mobile sports betting is not for you or not available in your state, don't worry. You can still get in on the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use promo code HEAVYWEIght. Bet $5 on a pre-fight moneyline wager on any of this weekend's fighters and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Promo code HEAVYWEIght only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Thank you all for indulging us. This has been the UFC 285 betting preview presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't forget to watch us live on pay-per-view this Saturday night for the undisputed UFC heavyweight title. With that, for Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic, Aaron Blanchfield, and Johnny Avello, Jon Anik signing off from Vegas. Won't be long now, folks. We'll see you Saturday night.